Testing, testing, testing. Shit. G'day YouTube, Max right here, and just in the nick of time, remembered I didn't have one of my important cords plugged in, so we're on. So look at this big, beautiful number right here above my head, 66,800 and something for Bitcoin. We are talking new all-time highs. So just cheers to everybody who had the courage of conviction to deal with the bear markets, to deal with 50% pullbacks, to deal with the FUD, to deal with the threats, to deal with people in your family and friends thinking you're crazy. Just cheers to everybody, guys. Everyone's looking like a genius today, and that's just a good thing. Everyone's feeling good, and good to see everyone feeling good and happy and wealthy. So yeah, well, just let's take a quick look at Ethereum. We've got Ethereum approaching all-time highs too. It's currently at 4,070. All-time highs are just shy of 4,400. So I think we'll be taking those out for Ethereum here in the not too distant future as well. We see Bitcoin dominance. It's up here at 47.7. We don't have far to go. So there's a few little things. We're going to get to Robert Kiyosaki here in just a moment. He's going to be talking about Bitcoin, among other things. Some important macro lessons here from Robert Kiyosaki as we head into it. So I want to mention one other thing. So stick around. You definitely want to hear the Robert Kiyosaki stuff and what he says about Bitcoin and the macroeconomic environment. And you'll get my thoughts as well, of course. I also want to give you a heads up. Yesterday, I recorded an interview with G. Edward Griffin. G. Edward Griffin is the author of The Creature from Jekyll Island. And I would suggest he, more than any other human being on the planet, is responsible for my wealth. It was his education, it was his books, it was his, the way he explained the Federal Reserve System to me, that just changed my life. That means when I saw Bitcoin in 2012, I knew what was going on. I understood the significance of it. I knew it was going to take over the world. And so it's just an incredibly important person to speak to, and a dear friend of mine. So yesterday I recorded that video. So sometime in the next day or two, I'll be releasing that video. Please go ahead and subscribe to this channel. You'll be kicking yourself if you don't. It's an incredible, absolutely incredible conversation. So go ahead and do that. Smash up that like button, by the way, if you think that, if you're happy about the Bitcoin all-time high. Okay, so we've got a lot of check boxes here. So we were looking for lots of things to happen. An all-time high is a pretty important one. I want to talk about this. We're on the cusp of kind of two things that kind of cast a shadow on Bitcoin's near-term future. All right, there's just so many things that says Bitcoin's near-term future are absolutely amazing. On-chain analysis is just screaming we are going into a massive multi-month exponential bull run. Right? There's adoption. There's countries looking at it. There's ETFs. So many things in the Bitcoin world are just screaming go, go, go. There's one little, one big-ish thing that casts a shadow over that. And we're on the cusp of both of those two shadows being eliminated as well. And it just paints a very, very, very rosy picture for Bitcoin. So let me share with you some of those negatives. The shadows, I should say. So right here, this vertical blue line, this is the fourth Friday of the month when we have Bitcoin options expiring. This one is the last Friday of the month. I think it's futures expire on those two dates. Typically, they represent a low point in the cycle. You can see here we're at a low, and it's more evident in the bull market. Down here it was a low, here it was a low, here it was a low. It's the middle of the months that are relatively high. Okay, so we're only 2 days away from this one now, which is usually the fourth Friday and the last Friday is the same day. In this particular month, we have 5 Fridays, and so the fourth Friday and the last Friday are different Fridays, hence the two blue lines. Typically, it's the first one that is the low point. So we're only 2 days away from that. I think once that and these pass, that's one of the shadows. It's not a huge shadow, it's just a short-term thing. Often there's a little pullback before those days. That's all. But like I said, there's so much positive news. I'm not saying the Bitcoin price is going to come down the next few days. There's just so much positive news in the Bitcoin world. It might just keep on going here. But I'm just saying that's just one of the shadows overshadowing it. Now here is another shadow. This is the bigger one. This is the far more relevant one. The one where I would keep my eyes on here. We have the Dow Jones has completely recovered here. It is nipping at all-time highs. Okay, here is the all-time high. We broke this trend line a little while back. I'm going to go ahead and delete that, make this chart a little cleaner. And we have all-time highs here. So we're on the cusp of an all-time high. This represents one point where the Dow Jones can bounce back out of. Okay, as it comes up here, it may form a double top and bounce back from here. We also have this upward sloping trend line. There's also some other things which I won't bother explaining to you, but there's some other metrics here which would suggest we do have resistance at around 35,900. Right? At this point, there's still a little bit of resistance left in the Dow Jones. And if the Dow Jones kind of bounces off here and comes back in a big way, or bounces off here and comes back in a big way, we might see Bitcoin's progression slow down for a little bit of a time, maybe weeks or months, depending on how big this Dow Jones pullback is. Okay? But if we clear this one, and especially this one, if you see the Dow Jones closing above that $40,000 mark, put a few daily candles above there, put some volume above there, I think we can put to bed some of the short-term concerns around the Dow Jones and the broader market. It means I don't know what they did in here. They printed enough money to do some magical something, and the stock market's going to be fine for probably just like a few months. I don't know, but it buys us some time. And that is all Bitcoin needs. I think if Bitcoin just gets 3 months of the Dow Jones and the broader markets not just crashing, then you will see the entire crypto market and Bitcoin absolutely explode. We could see the entire crypto market double, triple, or quadruple, or even more. It's as long as the Bitcoin, the Dow Jones, as long as the broader market, there's no major black swan event, my prediction is the crypto market could go absolutely ballistic. Just like $500,000 Bitcoin, by in Q1 of next year is not out of line. It's not. I'm not saying it's likely. I'm saying it's absolutely possible. 300,000, 100,000, all of these figures are absolutely in play as long as we don't have a macro shock. And if the Dow Jones clears this 40,000 mark, there's no, we're in clear blue skies, that'll be an all-time high. But there's other kind of tools. There's Fibonacci circles, there's fib retracements, there's other kind of tools which can paint some resistance for us a little bit higher up. And there's clear blue skies for quite some time. And all we need is just a couple of months of no macro black swan event, and we are talking about crypto doubling, tripling, just going absolutely crazy. That's my prediction. So if that sounds fun, go ahead, hit that like button, smash it up. I think, oh my God, it's just going to be an absolutely spectacular couple of months if all of those things play out and if those dominoes fall. Before we leave the charts, let's take a quick look at the dollar. I think we're still in the range. We wicked down. It's time for me to expand these lines here. We wicked down but came back earlier today. And if we see the dollar break below this important trend line, we have this important trend line coming back into play. If the dollar index can break down below these two marks, and I think you'll find that kind of happens. So remember, we had two marks on the Dow Jones, right? There was the all-time high, which we're kind of pushing at it right now. What do you know? There's this important line of resistance here for the DXY. We're pushing at it right now. And then there was the Dow Jones at just shy of 40,000. And here we have the DXY down here at something like 93.1, 93.2. And I think those two kind of things will happen at the same time. So the DXY and the Dow Jones, if these important trend lines are broken on those two charts, what that's telling me is we've got clear blue skies for crypto market to fulfill its Q4 promise and go absolutely ballistic in the final 2 months of this year. So very, very, very exciting times. I can't even tell you how excited I am. Let's leave that now for a second, and let's go and hit, what do I need here? Yes, that's what I need. Robert Kiyosaki. So here's Robert Kiyosaki throwing some truth bombs about macroeconomics I want to go and we'll talk a little bit. We'll let him have his say, and then I'll come back and I'll share my thoughts on that. So let's get to that.
So you crypto guys, you got to be smarter, because what possibly, it hasn't happened yet, is a Fed coin or a yuan coin, a Chinese coin. China will probably have it before the US. And there'll be a European coin. And they want to destroy Bitcoin. So you guys in Bitcoin, you've got to be smarter. So as it's coming down, like I said, I'm still going to buy more. But when it passes 27,000, I'm going to back up the truck, just like I did when it passed 9,000.
So I should point out, this clip was from a little while back. Of the price of Bitcoin was around about $35,000 when this clip was made. And poor old Robert waited for it to get to 27 before he bought, and he missed out on an incredible opportunity. Let me know in the comments, do you think we will ever see $27,000 Bitcoin again?
Because that's what traders do. So let me show you the bigger thing here is this. This is the future. This has not happened, but it might happen. If there's a Fed coin, they're going to get rid of the commercial banks. You see, the only way the money can go into the marketplace right now is the Fed prints money. They give the money to commercial banks like US Bank and Bank of America and Wells Fargo, and they lend the money out. But if the Fed coin comes out, they don't need these banks. And you worked for a bank, didn't you?
Yep, Wells Fargo.
And the only way somebody could get money, they got a credit card, real estate, or a student loan, right?
Yep, they need that credential history.
So if there's a Fed coin, Wells Fargo is gone. I'm not saying this is going to happen. This is my prediction of what might happen. Don't say I'm saying it's going to go out and all that stuff, you know. At the same time, if a Fed coin comes in, it wipes me out. Because the way I get my money is I have great credit. And like I said, just last week, Ken McElroy and I borrowed $160 million. That's the only way money gets into the system, is guys like us, capitalists, have to borrow money. School teachers can't even get a credit card. They're so stupid. Or they get a student loan. What a rip off that is. But a guy like me will go out there and use debt, as I said here. I use debt to acquire assets, and I pay no taxes. But they'll never teach you that in school. Any comments there, Alexandra?
Well, when you're talking about, like, for example, the yuan digital currency, right? It kind of makes you realize that really the pure intention of that is just to gain back control, so that they can monitor every little action you do.
Yes, that's why there's no financial education. That's why my poor dad was a Marxist, and he taught people that capitalists are crooks. And now there's crooks everywhere. You know, there's even crooked ministers. Obama likes those guys. Okay. So it's not the money, it's the person. And our school system's intentionally designed not to teach you about money. Because once they take these two away, then they go to Marxism or communism. UBI is universal basic income. You know what I mean? And that's what they're doing today with the stimulus checks. They're giving money straight to you. They don't need these guys anymore. You know, because I had to go to see you and either get a credit card or get a home loan.
Yep.
And these guys slow down the economy. So if they go to if they go to a Fed coin, these guys are gone. We go to pure communism, which is, I think, the intention. That's why Kamala Harris is going to be the next president. Or MMT, you know, it's Marxist monetary theory. That's my prediction. I'm not saying it's going to come true. If you say, well, I said that, it's not true. And what that is called is totalitarianism. It's beyond Marxism. They control your thoughts. They control your breathing. They control your injections. They control your money. They control how you get your money, how much you make, where you're spending it, where can you travel. They'll know everything about you. It's called totalitarianism.
And Robert, one thing I love that kind of sums.
So yeah, so some dark pictures there from Robert Kiyosaki. Now there's plenty of wisdom and truth in what he's saying there, but I think he's missing a really important point. I think is one of the most important things in the crypto world is that as they try to implement totalitarianism to greater and greater degrees, which we're seeing all day, every day, it forces people into the black market. It forces people to go and do other things and operate outside of the system. It may be illegal, but that's what they force people to do. And you see it over and over and over again. I've visited Cuba. I went and visited Cuba, I think about 10 years ago, just to see what's happening. And what was interesting to me is everybody was there and they worked 40 hours a week for the poor people. They worked 40 hours a week for the government. And they got free housing, education, healthcare, all of this stuff. I mean, all of the quality of it was so terrible you wouldn't bother paying for it. But anyway, they got the free stuff. But then every single person, absolutely no exceptions, every single person worked in the black market. There was another economy that every single person had to do to survive. People find a way to survive, and when they do that, they've never, ever, ever had the opportunity to have a currency in the black market before. You had to use whatever was around, you had to use barter systems, you had to use whatever corrupt money the communist totalitarian regime puts out, and that just was so crippling to the black market. But this is so different. The black market is going to have the best, most superior form of money the world has ever seen. And the Fed coins and everything else in the world will not be able to compete in any way, shape, or form. And so this is going to tie in a lot. If you do choose to subscribe to the channel, you do tune into the video I'll release the other day of my chat with G. Edward Griffin. We talk about these concepts a lot, about how the floor of where totalitarianism sends you is raised significantly because of cryptocurrency. And those people who, one of my favorite shows is Blacklist. And it's like, I feel like all Bitcoiners might become Raymond Reddingtons here. It's just like, we are we may become, if the totalitarian measures become extremely heavy-handed, want to punish all cryptocurrency holders, it's like we all become Raymond Reddingtons. And so it'll just be a very, very interesting scene to see how this plays out. And I'll tell you now, well, no one wants to become a Raymond Reddington. I'd rather just be a law-abiding citizen and living happily and healthfully. The day may come where the totalitarian forces are so great and so strong, it's execution or black market, or it's, go and, work in the gulags or be a prisoner of the gulags or be Raymond Reddington. And if it gets to that, you want to have as much tools at your disposal as possible. So this is all very, very, very end game stuff, which is maybe not something we want to talk about here on a day where it's all-time highs. And one of the questions here, actually, it's like one of the people writing is when Lambo. It's like, yeah, well, when do we get the Lambos? And I know some people are thinking about that, and it's fine, it's great, and enjoy that, and I'm thinking about that too. But then if I cast my mind forward 5, 10, 15 years, if the rate and the trajectory of the totalitarianism continues at this pace, it's the black market will be where it's at, and it will be the crypto people and their ability to move jurisdictions, their ability to go and take their wealth with them. That is going to be where the kingmakers are going to be. So it's just a very, very important world we are in here in crypto land. It's our absolute savior. It is our lifeboat. It is our lifeboat for freedom. It is our lifeboat for wealth. It's our lifeboat for a lot of things. So guys, if you enjoyed that, go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I had a question here, which was, I see a couple of people are saying that they'll never get to 27. Some people say it's never going to get to 50. Matt is asking me, when am I going to be on around the blockchain again? He misses me. I think he's asked that question in another video. Yeah, Matt, do me a favor, hit them up. I don't know if I fell out of the good graces of around the blockchain people, but I haven't been asked to be back on since. I've reached out to them a couple times and said, hey, I'll be on, but I haven't been invited to be back on. So there's that. Yeah, reach out to them and say, hey, get Max back on. That would really help me out. And there was someone asking here, a question is, where is it? Max, you're going to take profits on the way up for BTC and buy back in the bear market? And the answer is yes. Look, about 2-3 days ago, I made a video. It was like how to play this boom market. And I outlined my strategy there about how I'm going to be taking profits. I actually I offered three different strategies. One is a horrific losing strategy. I highly recommend you watch that just to avoid it because it is so tempting to fall for it. So really, really watch that video. But then also I said, look, two different ways. One way is to be a little bit more active and make even bigger profits. And the other way is to just sit and hodl and, take some profits out towards the end. And I'm going to outline all that. So definitely go back and check that video. So let's, when Lambo's talking about on the blockchain. No, that's two different people. So when Lambo found me from on the blockchain. Yeah, so guys, do me a favor. Reach out and get me back on the blockchain. I'd love to be on there. It's great exposure for me, helps me grow the channel, and that's really, really helpful. All right, guys, that's it from me. Make sure you subscribe. That conversation with G. Edward Griffin, if you're a freedom-loving person, that stuff is just going to warm your heart. It's just critically important information. So make sure you keep an eye out for the G. Edward Griffin interview. And tomorrow, I think during the live presentation, remember, this show is done Monday through Friday, noon Eastern, live. So you get to come in here and answer get your questions answered. And we're going to be we're going to have a clip. We're not talking to, I beg your pardon. We're going to have a clip from Raoul Pal talking about his thoughts on crypto market. And you definitely want to be there for that. So guys, enjoy, take care, enjoy these all-time highs. Don't get too cocky. Don't rub other people's faces in it. Just say, hey guys, things are about to get nuts. You really want to get on board. All right guys, take care and I'll see you later.